Babs, how are you?
I'm well. Ellen, yeah?
No, Ellen is running it. I'm Rachel.
Are you Rachel? Okay, hi, Rachel. Because I
Hi.
saw Ellen came on. Hi,
Ellen was
Rachel.
talking. Um, to start, I first of all, I love how you can even be playing characters within a similar genre, but they are so different from one another. Because every
Mm,
time you approach a character, it just like completely becomes you and your vision. But with something like this, it's a real person, and we're like getting into this history that people don't know that much. What for you was the joy and the challenge of like doing a movie like this that is so action packed, but still having all of those elements kind of on the back end?
Well, to be clear, my character in this film
Yeah,
is
sorry.
fictional, yeah? But there are a number of other characters, in the unit, Marjorie Stewart, Gus March Phillips, like that are based on real
Yeah.
people. So my character is fictional, but he is working within this story that's based on, real times, World War II. And yeah, it's just doing your research and knowing the period and the things that were going on. It's being aware that there was a British West Indies regiment that fought for the British Empire during World War One. It's like there were soldiers, African soldiers that fought for France during World War One. And of course, to realize, like, yeah, in World War Two, you probably had a few people here and there that had to fight on the side of the British. So, yeah. So in that case, it was that kind of, so extrapolating from that and creating this man that should be well traveled, that has gone places, seen things, and he's decided to he's made the choice to fight on the side, of the British Empire and to do things his own way, though, to go off to this West African island and creating his own business,
Mhm.
um, all in service of trapping the Nazis eventually.
Yeah. And I love Guy Ritchie's kind of style of how he brings stories to life. Because whether it is fictional or it's like this one, which is my first thing was like, it's kind of based in the real history, but it's also like, we don't know it. But
Yeah,
for you, when you are in that Guy Ritchie world and you're getting to do the outrageous, but with a story that is on the other side of it so important, what is the fun like to be on that set and kind of have that back and forth of like the Guy Ritchie action sequences, but with a more sincere
yeah.
story for him?
Yeah. Well, it's a fine line. You're walking this,
Mm-hmm.
walking, you're threading this thin because you 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 love and appreciate that sensibility that Guy brings, but then you've got to make sure you have that sense of gravity of the period also. At least that's what I was working on and
Mm-hmm.
finding the balance of those things. And Guy is absolutely a master of these, set pieces and even the quick dialogue and the fun within the heaviness of things. So quite stylized, and yet, when I watched the film, I was really taken by what he created and how he had it so tense from moment to moment. So watching that and experiencing that on set, yeah, for a very brief moment, I was like, ooh, yeah, but this is still, you know, World
Mm-hmm.
War II, but I also had a trust that Guy knew what he was doing and what he wanted,
Yeah.
so it's really just being trusting and taking responsibility for what you can control, and what I could control is, yeah, this character, Richard Herron, can move within this world with that sense of gravity, yet a sense of play, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in this heavy, heavy time.
Yeah. And I do love that, Richard gets to not only be so important in this kind of story overall, but like he's really important in like how they get close to the man they're like he is such an important player in this where given what you were saying like he could be resigned to just being in the background but like that's not what you get to do as an actor.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be here if
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing the film if that was the case, you know. So, and the reality is, even on the page, it wasn't. It was a lovely role, but getting on set and working with Guy, and as the days passed, he just kept adding me to scenes and Heron, like
Mm-hmm.
really for the 2 3 month period. So there were many scenes I knew I was going to shoot because the character is integral
Mm-hmm.
for but there were a number of scenes also that, it's just like, oh yeah, Guy, yeah, once you're in this scene, it just kept flowing. So yeah, so big up to him for that.
I love that. And you've now worked with like Guy and Denis, who are two directors they think like have such a specific vision, and that people are like, you've got to kind of just be like, they know what they want.
Yeah,
Is that freeing for you though, to like be as an actor, just be like, I don't got to worry about that's on them. Like I'm gonna do what I need to do and
yeah,
have
yeah,
fun, but you guys all can do whatever you want on that side.
absolutely. Well, I mean, first of all, it's a gift, to work with directors like that, and one, will wants to keep working with directors of such stature. But absolutely, they do so much. It's so much work to build these worlds, So for you as an actor, you're simply trying to contribute with every piece of your being
Mm-hmm.
to trusting and knowing that if you do your part, everybody else is going to do theirs, and Guy is like a brilliant filmmaker, and he does it with such an ease, that is a joy to watch at times, as we were doing this. So yeah, it's really fantastic.
And I also love, I'm obsessed with your career. I'm a nerd. So I've obviously seen Star Trek Strange New Worlds a lot.
Yeah,
But I love that you play all of these men who are like so incredibly smart, but they're all so different from me, how they share that intelligence with the world. Um, like they're just you're like, yeah, I trust that guy. He's gonna tell me what to do, but you approach them in very different ways. Is it always important for you as an actor to like, if you're playing these characters that have a certain level of intelligence, to still make them completely unique in how they share that intelligence with the world?
That's a lovely question. Absolutely, absolutely. I think my old acting teachers, I'm hoping they're smiling, or all the all the admonishment and yeah, like that's just a wonderful thing to hear. Thank you for the question. That's a wonderful thing to hear. As an actor, you try and approach it with as much truth within you as possible, and absolutely try to make them as unique and as specific as possible. Uh, the way
Mm.
they walk, the way they talk, the way they look at people, the way they receive information and give information, as you're saying. And so, yeah, you know, thank you for the question. I feel like I shouldn't answer anything because
You're like, thank you. I
because
could be
yeah,
like,
it
hey,
sounds really good.
be like, and next, are you gonna do another musical? No, but the what I also like for a last question, what I really liked about this movie is you get to all have these very strong characters that are kind of off the rails for being in a World War II movie. Like Henry Cavill just is like licking his lips and screaming at
Yeah,
times. And he's like, and now I'm a good little agent. And I do
yeah,
like that you get to all have those kind of moments.
yeah,
Then, like we
yeah.
talked about, it is kind of Guy's job to then make this all work. But do you, as an actor, get to like be there, see what's going on, and kind of does that inform you and how you're like, well, how would how would Richard kind of interact with this man who's screaming and licking his lips, and then change a little bit of how that demeanor would be?
Yeah. No, I mean, I had very specific behavior for Richard. And I think he's a guy that's he's seen everything. And he is sort of don't want to say a wild card, but a card that one cannot read easily,
Yeah.
and only a very few people, know his level of intelligence, his level of ability. So I very much played him in that mode,
Mhm.
like, uh, and so for him, he finds most people amusing, and he might smile or not smile at them, He's always analyzing people, but with not cynical, but veering on slightly cynical reserve.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I got to work with uh, Henry C. Really towards the end of shooting,
Yeah.
when we then, they get to the island and we start taking over things. And yeah, but all the crazy boat stuff,
You'd have
I
to do
didn't
it.
see. So it was almost like Asa and myself were shooting a different film, really.
Uh-huh.
Uh, for a number of weeks, and we would just hang out with these guys after hours, but within the work, it was just Ace and myself, like building this world and carrying this, this part
Mhm.
of the story. And so when we would speak, it's like, what movie are you guys making? What do you mean you were shooting bow and arrow? You have a bow and arrow and you're, what are you talking about?
You're
Uh,
sitting at dinner like, why can't I be doing that? What's going on
right.
here?
No, I like my guy. I like my guy. I like my guy. And yeah, so really it was great fun. It was great fun. And then to bring it all together and to see it on the big screen, and I was just really, really taken by what Guy had put together. It was really, just the tension in the film, the play of the guys on the ship, and yet, the gravity of the situation when we'd go into the offices of naval intelligence or the SOE, and that tension, and Churchill's cabinet not really wanting to, knowing that really they wouldn't approve of this kind of mission, and all that tension there for me to see it on the big screen. I was just like, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he's made a fantastic film, a movie for the movies,
Yeah.
because it's a real fun one to watch with people.
Yeah. I can't wait till we get to see it so we can all talk about it. I liked it a lot. Thank you for talking with me, and I can't wait also for Star Trek season 4 or season 3.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
season 3,
I'm
yeah,
so
shooting it
excited for
right now.
season 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you,
Thank you.
Rachel.
Have a great one.
Well, Ministry of
Bye.
Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Bye.